Alright, when the music starts to repeat on loop, yeah, it's time to start the game. Guys, welcome back, SLI League. We got C games going on up in here. Mineski taking on Geek Fam. Big shout out to the admins of this tournament. We are 50 minutes late because of Geek Fam's situation. They played a grueling best of 3 up against Fnatic, which unfortunately for them, they lost. So they can't be feeling that good, but, we waited for them. Because here at SLI, everyone is going to play and everyone's going to have a good time. I'm Mike Loris, going to be your caster for this game. Just a simple best of 3. Winner has to face TNC in the finals. That will be played tomorrow, and loser is out. Already, I would say that Mineski are the favorites, not to mention the fact that Geek Fam just got done playing a really long best of 3. So it's going to be really tough for Geek Fam, honestly. Like, playing that long of a series, having like a 10-minute break, and then going into another one against a team that is definitely one of the best teams in the region, it's going to be a tough call for them. So, guys, take it easy on Geek Fam here. They're, I'm sure, exhausted, and things might be a little bit rough for them. Let's take a look at what's going on in these bans. Tiny is going to be banned out, which is pretty interesting. We saw Mineski pick this hero very highly in their previous series, deciding to take it out right now. I mean, they do have first pick. They don't have the second phase of picks, so they can't partner the Tiny up with anything, but they gave Tiny to Jabs, they gave Tiny to Ice Ice Ice, and both of them did absolutely fantastically. Like, for a 4 position, Jabs played Tiny so incredibly well. That's Enchantress and Doom also going to be taken out. A couple of unorthodox bans, really, and right now the pool's pretty deep for Mineski. Shadow Shaman? No, it's going to be a Clockwork. Okay, I'm definitely feeling a Shadow Shaman here for the Geek Fam side because he's just still in the pool. But yeah, lots of heroes that we see banned out right now that we haven't seen banned out, at least not very highly. Enchantress is definitely a little bit more of a flavor pick. Some teams pick it up, some regions pick it up, and others just don't ever. It kind of comes down to just personal preference or team preference, I suppose. And Doom is definitely going to be a later pick whenever he is picked up. Geek Fam, though, hello, we got ourselves a combo. They'll pick up the Bounty Hunter, which is generally just a solid pickup if you build around him, and Shadow Fiend definitely is a decent build around. Though this combo for Geek Fam is, I would probably say, a little bit more of a ban than a pick for themselves. You first pick Clockwork as any team, and you're probably going to want to pick up the Shadow Fiend if you can get it. Because the two just work so well together. Obviously, you get the souls from the cogs, and then even later down the line, Clockwork does get a lot of space for the Shadow Fiend to operate in those engagements. So Geek Fam will take that for themselves. And again, this isn't a bad hero to have along with the Bounty Hunter. If you are able to, close in and get that slow off, get a couple raises, you can kill quite a few heroes. Maybe not a hero like Queen of Pain, because she just will immediately blink out when the Bounty Hunter arrives. So, unless you soften her up beforehand, you're not going to be getting those kills easily. It's still a solid setup here for Geek Fam, if not a little fragile. For the Mineski side, they will have this Queen of Pain pick just to make sure that they have some decent matchups as far as counter Bounty Hunter is concerned. You can hit Bounty Hunter with Scream of Pain even if he's invisible. Obviously, Sonic Wave works as well. But the real high value for Queen of Pain in this particular matchup is the fact that she will have a really nice minute 0 start up against the SF. Just has better projectile, just has better damage, and she is very immune to what the Bounty Hunter has to offer. Whereas conversely, the Clockwork is actually really good up against the Shadow Fiend. You can kill the enemy Clockwork's cogs for souls. So you can do that. So Clockwork has to make sure to not make that happen too often. But Shadow Fiend is just such a soft hero that if you do want to commit on him with both a Clockwork and a Quap, Shadow Fiend can't really do much about that. Bounty Hunter can't really do much about that. So it's a pretty short up mid lane here for the Mineski side. They'll take out the Puck, and Geek Fam will take out, Brew and Underlord. And I went on a little bit of a rant last game about how I think Underlord is a gigantic trash can. To see a trash can picked is one thing, but to see him banned is quite another, man. As far as off lanes that I would generally be scared of, I would be a lot more terrified, very consistently, of a Sand King pick. I feel like that hero is kind of not OP. He's definitely very strong. And I would definitely be considering Tidehunter in there as well. Has a really good matchup up against Bounty Hunter for very similar reasons as the Quap. You can hit Bounty Hunter with mostly all of your abilities as the Tidehunter. And the fact that if you do get initiated upon by a Bounty Hunter, it doesn't matter because an Anchor Smash means he literally does no more damage. So, yeah, I mean, those heroes I would be a little more scared of. If Geek fam pick up Tide for themselves, then that's definitely not a Tidehunter. Okay, so I don't like the Underlord ban anymore. I think that's a pretty ill-advised one. They will grab the Batrider, though. Is going to force the Mineski safe lane to be a very specific pool of heroes. But you know what? Slark is still in. Is actually pretty good up against Bounty Hunter and Batrider both because of the ability to self-purge. You also do have the Juggernaut and a Lifestealer. Actually, Lifestealer is incredible here. Magic Community versus Shadow Fiend, yes please. Great matchup versus Batrider. The ability to self-purge with that rage. Plus already having a Clockwork and a Quap on the team for Mineski. This is actually like one of the best times I've seen to pick up a Lifestealer. Now they may want to sit on it for a little bit. And just wait and kind of scope out the field a little. But right now, Mineski do have some options. They can give Jabs the Clockwork. Alternatively, they can get an Earth Spirit or something along those lines for Jabs and then set up for a Clockwork going towards the off lane. They'll grab the Bane first just to make sure that their supports are there. And I would say with the Shadow Shaman being out, Bane is definitely the premium support hero left in the pool. Maybe Rubik here for Geek Fam would be a decent pick. Definitely would have a lot of game, actually. Rubik is incredible here for Geek Fam. Man, am I on the money or what? Or are they just setting up for really common heroes to be good? I'm not sure. But you get a guaranteed steal of the grip whenever you want it from the Bane. Being able to displace Clockwork out of his cogs, that's an incredibly useful tool. And being able to set up telekinesis with the Shadow Fiend for those raises actually lets them kill off the Queen of Pain. Plus, is there any other hero that will really act in a similar fashion? With Bounty Hunter already on the roam, like what other more static support can they actually pick up that'll partner well with the Shadow Fiend and really enable this Bounty Hunter to get some action? There really aren't that many. You can go for a Disruptor here for Geek Fam, actually. I think that would be a pretty solid pick. And I do feel like Disruptor in general is a little bit underplayed. The issue with the Disruptor, though, is that he doesn't really have his offensive power until the mid-game. And in the very early stages, Disruptor is kind of a kitten. But hey, they go for him anyway. Dude, am I on the ball or what? This is going to make the Tidehunter pick a little bit less attractive here for Mineski. Though pretty much all those heroes that I mentioned earlier are a lot worse. The Jug, Slark, and Lifestealer, the big three up against Batrider, typically do have a couple of issues going up against Disruptor because they cast spells to get rid of that Napalm. And you know what you can't do when you're in the Static Storm? That's right, cast spells. Wow, we're dropping some serious knowledge bombs here today. They still probably can go for it. Like, if you get the Rage off beforehand, or if you get the spin off beforehand, you can just get rid of that Glimpse. That is not what I was expecting, Mineski. What the hell? Where did that come from? Okay, well, so we have a Jabs Clockwork, we have a Ninja Boogie Bane, and now we have a Magnus. Now, Magnus is a hero that kind of gets screwed over a lot by Disruptor. He is perhaps not going to get screwed over quite as much as, say, a Tidehunter for that same role for Ice. But Magnus now partnered with, again, those two others, since Juggernaut is now banned, is a pretty solid setup. Empowering Queen of Pain also isn't too terrible. And Magnus, if you are going to initiate on him with a Bounty Hunter, is pretty good. I mean, you just skewer away, and if you can skewer Bounty Hunter into your tower, you got yourself a stew. Now, the downside is that Skewer is like such a slow ability that you have to really mind game the Disruptor to play around that as far as surviving in lane is concerned. Like, there's a lot of wind-up time. Like, Magnus, when he does Skewer out, does the whole Scooby-Doo run, where he, like, kind of shuffles in place for a little bit before he actually starts moving. If you cancel it during that time, you may be able to pull out the Glimpse and Skewer out afterwards, but usually you don't really have that many options for the Magnus. Still, we saw last game that Mineski played versus AGV, the Magnus, or the Ice off lane, died a handful of times, but it wasn't a terribly huge deal. So you do die early on in this game, like, it doesn't really matter all that much. I'll take out the CK, definitely one of the better heroes to snowball with coming out of that safe lane. Geek Fam, they do have a Shadow Fiend to already chip at some towers. They can go for a little bit more, but honestly, they don't really have to. They'll grab a Faceless Void here for Mineski. And for Geek Fam, I was going to say, like, they have maybe the option of going for a Drow Ranger. Less likely now that there's a Faceless Void on the field. And doesn't really seem like they need all that much from their safe lane. Obviously, they would rather not go for like a super turbo late game, simply because they're up against this Faceless Void. So a little bit more of an early game twist perhaps would be a little bit more useful for them. But if you want to go aggro with the Vengeful Spirit, I say go for it. If you want to pick up a Terror Blade, they will be pretty well equipped to support him and really start snowballing him. You can kind of take a half measure and say, okay, screw it all. We're going to go for like a Mirana. They have a pretty good setup with the Disruptor, decent with the Bat Rider as well, and mobility is certainly going to be pretty nice. So Geek Fam have almost infinite options right now. The Mineski Faceless Void is going to be a pretty interesting hero to watch. Is yet another hero that is going to be really screwed over by the Disruptor, and that's why I'm saying, like, Disruptor is such a great hero in this patch. I feel like he's underplayed. But the issue with Faceless Void is that though he may be able to time walk away from the Bat Rider, he still has to worry about that Napalm, at least early on. Down the line, being able to dilate the Bat Rider, that completely screws him over. Same thing for the Shadow Fiend. Definitely one of the lesser aspects of Faceless Void, that time dilation, simply because Chronosphere exists. It's like you have this gigantic show-stopping ultimate, and you're going to be looking at his kind of basic ability, but time dilation is actually pretty sweet up against Bat and Shadow Fiend. Geek Fam go for the Wraith King. Interesting. It does make quite a bit of sense. I mean, looking at Mineski's draft, pretty much whenever you're looking at whether or not you want to pick up a Wraith King, you have to be looking at two things. First of all, how much mana burn do the enemies have? You don't really want to be playing Wraith King up against an Anti-Mage or a PL. That's just not fun. Second of all, how front-loaded is the damage from Mineski? Like, Mineski's sustained damage output, how much is it compared to how much value are they hoping for off the initiation? And when you're up against big teamfight heroes, Magnus, Faceless Void, Queen of Pain, usually all the action for Mineski is going to be right in the beginning of the fight. They either get the cataclysmic opening and crush you, or they kind of falter and then the fights get a little bit more iffy. It does seem like the Wraith King is a pretty decent pick here for the Geek Fam side. Together with the Bounty Hunter can certainly apply that pressure to the Magnus. Having that additional disable in the Wraithfire can definitely set up for extra damage for the Bounty Hunter, maybe get the Disruptor into a better position. I don't mind the Wraith King one bit. I do feel like he's a pretty powerful pick here. God damn it, because this game is being played like an hour late, my tea is no longer hot. And that feels really bad, man. Casting with lukewarm, kind of cold tea. Ugh. Kill me now. Guys, Geek Fam, they are just off of a loss in a best of 3 up against Fnatic. We'll see if they can turn this around. With a win up against Mineski is going to be difficult. We got Xion playing the Shadow Fiend. Play Hard is going to be playing hard as the Bounty. March, no, not that March, is on the Bat Rider. He's only 12 years old. Got Skemberlu on the Wraith King. On the bottom lane, we got Oli, the poor Disruptor, all alone. For Mineski, ooh, we got some sneaky action here from Mushi. He's playing the Faceless Void. Let's see if he's going to continue onwards with that. Ooh, I don't think Playhard actually saw him, at least not enough time to check the inventory. Ninja Boogie is on the Bane. We got Moon on the Queen of Pain, Ice 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 as Magnus is in play, and Jab's Clockwork. Again with this interesting looking cosmetic. I still don't remember that game that I was talking about last time I saw this, but I'm not going to try to remember. Too much of a pain. So Mushi just trying to hide the fact that he was up here with observers and sentries. That has, by now, definitely been revealed, so they know that this Faceless Void is up to something. What is he up to? Placing a really deep obs. Usually an indicator that they just want to play this lane super aggressively, and usually Faceless Voids aren't able to play super aggressively. The hero just doesn't do it. He does have some pretty good base damage, and if you're really lucky, get a nice time lock. Yeah, there are situations where you can get kills, but those situations usually don't happen with a hero like Bane. They usually happen more so with a hero like Rubik or Shadow Shaman, a hero that is just overloaded with control. And Bane is a little bit more so of the poking and prodding type of hero. The Wraith King is actually going to go towards the top lane as March is going to go towards bottom as the Bat Rider. Ice Ice Ice, looks like he doesn't quite see this one coming, but he will probably, as his first item, go ahead and pick up a Magic Stick and try to get some benefits back from March. It's going to be difficult to kill off this Magnus. You can stack up the Napalm on him, but he will have that skewer out, and by stacking up Napalm on him, you do give him infinite mana to spam those skewers. They're going to go ham on Ninja Boogie. Already all their tools have been used. The damage right clicks, Wraith Fire Blast, the dot should kill him off. Play hard though, taking a lot of damage. Mushi is unable to get the kill. Skimberlu will get the first blood, however, over in mid. Jabs rotated in along with Moon and get an easy kill on the SF. So it is going to be, unfortunately for Mineski, a little bit late for that kill. But still, they are able to get 5-1 over the 3-0 for Chuan, for Moon rather, over Chuan. And still having Jabs in the area. The commitment for the Geek fam off lane in putting 3 heroes there is of course going to leave this Shadow Fiend out to dry, and he is going to once again be dove and be killed, even with the cog bump back. Such a finicky spell, but man, that additional whatever, like 0.5 second disable, sometimes it's all you need, man. Another kill for the Shadow Fiend, and souls, he's not going to get many souls. I mean, he does have the raises, so you can't really keep a Shadow Fiend down forever. But this is a less than ideal start for the Shadow Fiend in mid, and this is going to be pretty problematic for the Geek fam side. There's not really an easy way to protect the SF, and that's an issue that SF typically does have. He is a glass cannon through and through, especially in the first 3 minutes of the game when he doesn't have his souls yet up. He is very, very susceptible to dying, and he's for the opponents of Shadow Fiend, they are very highly incentivized to kill off SF, keep his soul count low, which just, kind of perpetuates that cycle. So for Mineski, they are able to make that movement. This is going to perhaps cost them a little bit of action up towards top lane, but Mushi, being a Faceless Void, being very difficult to kill, up until the point where Disruptor gets level 2 in the Glimpse, means that he can actually stay on this top lane. Doesn't really want to trade hits necessarily, but is able to do so without too much threat of dying. And the Bane, if you are going to go for him, he may die, yes, as we've already seen, but that costed Skimberlu both of his Wraithfire Blasts, and this dude is mana strapped. There is not a lot of mana coming in for the Wraith King, though he is going for an Aquila, it looks like, trying to mitigate those problems. Going for a Bane takes a very long time, simply because he has so much HP. 660 with 4 armor is so high. Look, 640 with only 1 armor for the Disruptor, plus Bane has Brain Sap, plus he has some backup here in Jabs. He's caught himself a Disruptor in a cage. Some karmic justice there from Disruptor, usually the one caging opponents, but Jabs kills mid twice, kills top lane once, and this is like the perfect scenario for a Clockwork early on. This is a scenario we don't really see all that often either. Like usually when we see Clockworks being picked up for a support capacity, the immediate response from the opposition is, okay, we know there's a Clockwork going to be roaming around. Let's pick up heroes with blinks. Let's pick up pucks. Let's pick up quaps. Let's pick up magic immune heroes like Juggernauts. That Clockwork, if he does roam in, traps one of our heroes in a cog. Nothing really happens afterwards. SF is clearly not that hero. Top lane, Disruptor, Wraith King, these are clearly not those type of heroes. So this is going to be a very free game for a roaming 4 position Clockwork. Checking back in at this bottom lane, it is exactly as boring as you would expect. Both these heroes just spamming at each other, and it's very interactive, very fun to watch, but unfortunately we're not going to watch it. I know you guys want to watch that off lane, I know, but we're not doing it because I'm in charge here, not you guys. Is this a quick buy item, or is this a bug? I mean, I know these are bugs, these 7 are bugs, but I don't know what's going on with this blank spot here. Disruptor, oh, once again, just like Pokemon, gotta catch them all. Look at that, it's a field within a field. That will keep Mushi away, but he's gonna jump right over it. Get the last hit. Jabs takes a lot of damage here from Skimberlu. With the battery assault slowing them down, he'll be able to slip away. Now Skimberlu gets hit with the bash. Mushi is gonna control the RNG, gets another one as well. Is unable to save Jabs, but still trading the Clockwork for 2 there. Very much so worth it for the Mineski side. Ninja Boogie surviving throughout all of that as well. Pretty nice for the Bane to get that additional experience bump there. There's not really like a ton of experience flowing in these fights, like 130 experience is not exactly impressive. I want to say that's about like a third of a level, but I unfortunately don't know the experience experience requirements per level off the top of my head. I apologize. I am but a scrub caster. I'm not one of those good casters that actually knows that type of stuff. But man, Jabs is just walking around the map collecting heads left and right. And there's another head potentially to collect. Battery Assault, though, is on level 1. Picked up Flare. Is a very nice tool to cancel salves and clarities, tools that will be used. Just look at Shadow Fiend, salves and clarities. So, yeah, it's not really meant to kill people. It's meant to make sure that his allies can kill people. Unfortunately, only level 1 Battery Assault means that even if he does catch a Disruptor, most likely he's not going to get much action there. But Skimberlu, he is going to get put to sleep and put into a cage. Welcome to the Thunderdome. Mushi's here. First hit bash. All planned, obviously, for Mushi. Skimberlu's going to hit the top cog, try to get himself out, but it's not going to happen. Dilation was picked up already. Mushi this time is going to get the last hit. Dude wants some rings of health, it seems. I'm not sure why he's getting all these rings. But, hey man, sometimes you just gotta bling yourself out. This is going to be an absolute slaughter on this top lane. Jabs, you can see, after all those kills, maybe a couple patches ago would be level 4 pushing 5, but right now, only 3.5, but still doing so much work in that top lane, and really just forcing Geek Fam to stay with all their heroes up there. That means that the Queen of Pain is pretty much going to have a free reign over the Shadow Fiend. Is beating the SF slightly in CS. Not really a devastating lead or anything like that, but you can see Tron is steadily chewing through those restoratives. Is going to land 2 raises on Moon, force a blink out. Well played there. And of course, bottom lane is being left in a vacuum. That means the Magnus has an absolute free time. Forced to go for only 1 point in Skewer just for emergencies, whereas ordinarily you might want to get a little bit more if your lane is a lot rougher. Right now he's got the most greedy build you could probably get as a Magnus. Radiant Scan is going to stay red, so this Shadow Fiend knows that something's up here. Oh, that's interesting. Rocket Flare was actually used to chip out Raindrop. I actually did not think of that. I was thinking you harass him infinitely with the Quap, you keep him low with the battery assaults, with the flares, prevent him from regenerating. But no, if you could just keep burning through those raindrops, that means the Quap will... I mean, it essentially does the same thing. Like, it just keeps the Shadow Fiend with less defenses, but... yeah, it's going to be kind of freely burning through those raindrops. I wonder if anyone else has raindrop. Looks like probably not. Yeah, raindrops are... man, they're expensive, man. You can't just buy raindrops. Gotta go and collect them out in the rain. It's not even raining right now. Jabs will find the SF. Does see a clarity. It's actually not going to be blocked because of the raindrop. The hell? Seriously? I guess that's how it works. Well, I mean, he only has 1 left. So, it's so far working out pretty well for Jabs. Mana cost wise, it does add up quite a bit, but oh, you know what? Drop a Chronosphere on a Disruptor. They will focus instead on the Shadow Fiend, maybe even both of them. Disruptor will fall as Moon's taking a lot of damage here. Sonic Wave blink out, and the Rays will miss, which otherwise would have killed the Quap, I think. Mushi's going to just right-click down the SF, kill him off for the up team time. Once again, cut his souls in half. And the SF, no more raindrops. Mushi with the surprise rotation probably should have been spotted, actually. Or not, like, spotted, but suspected. Because Ninja Boogie is suddenly farming top lane, and you don't really give Bane a lot of room. That's not something that happens unless the safe laner has things to do elsewhere. Really? Dude's just gonna go straight hood? Are we sure this is an EE? What's going on here? This is a super defensive build from the Faceless Void if he's actually gonna do this. Can I not right-click show and shop anymore? Yeah, I mean... is there like some other thing that can... no? Maybe you go for a Helm of the Dominator and then you get something else? Maybe he's just debating me the entire time and he's just gonna go for a classical good item. That's definitely likely as well, as he's gonna go for Invitational instead. Play hard. He's stalking Ninja Boogie. Surprisingly enough, this Wraith King's on top of the net worth chart. I thought given the lane pressure, he would be, I mean, definitely near the top, but not at the top, leading by 400. That's a very impressive amount of farm here for the Wraith King. And use that farm to get more farm in the Hand of Midas, plus level 7 now with that reincarnation. pretty difficult here to kill off. Grip does steal mana, but it usually doesn't steal enough to prevent a reincarnation from happening. Even with a cog bump back, it's only level 1, so it doesn't really do all that much mana drain. Skimberlu is going to be pretty difficult to kill off, so how Mineski take fights right now has to be use Chronosphere or whatever to kill everyone else but the Wraith King, and then kind of just finish him for last. Save him for last and then kill him last. Now, we still have this bottom lane. Ice, 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 and March have been playing super passively. They will catch the Bat Rider in the tick, tick, tick. It'll actually do no damage because it's only level 1 ability. They'll just go ahead and grab the Quap, try to bring her up to the high ground, but Play Hard take a big hit from that Scream of Pain. Sonic Wave is there as well, but Queen of Pain does not have another blink to get out of there. They also drop Ninja Boogie elsewhere. And looks like March is able to get right on out of there. Battery Assault level 1, not exactly an impressive damaging tool 10 minutes into the game. It actually just did no damage to the Bat Rider at all because he had so much regeneration from the Tranquils. I honestly thought it would do some damage, not literally none. Mushi, Chronosphere, found the Bat Rider. There's a Shockwave here, but that's about all that the Magnus can help unless he wants to use the RP, will decide to do so. And definitely worth it if they get the kill, and they will do so. That's going to be, ooh, Helm of the Dominator after Arcane Boots for Ice, Ice, Ice. We've seen a lot more people get this Helm of the Dominator. Play Hard, trapped now by Jabs. He will take some damage here from Jabs. Now picked up the hook shot. Tick, tick. No, he messes up and TPs instead of hook shots. Oh, I think he still has the kill, though. Oh, no, he doesn't. Oh, Jabs, you done goofed. Could have casted, like, anything else, and maybe it would have done it. But, I mean, TP 75 mana. That would have gotten him a kill. He fat-fingered it. Uncharacteristic mistake from Jabs. I think Courier just made a delivery, so... Ooh, this is a sick-looking Courier also. So maybe he, like, didn't expect items to be there or something. I don't know. But back on this Magnus. Seen a lot of people get Helm of the Dominator just for mixed utility. Now, I haven't seen it picked up on a Magnus in particular. Although, I mean, I would say probably if the lane was a little bit more conventional here for Geek Fam on the bottom side, then the Magnus would not be doing this. This is just an item that he picks up because his lane has been so easy. And he's going to have a Blink Dagger at a decent timing anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But having that additional unit, in this case a Siege Creep, to take down that tower, it definitely doesn't hurt. You get something a little bit more killy like a Centaur or a Troll Net. You can actually set up for some self-set up for skewers. You have a lot of options with this item, plus the fact that there's also an aura here. Attack speed, 8 health regen is actually a lot. Like, it is definitely easy to underestimate how great 8 health regen is. I mean, it's of course a fairly expensive item just to get for random luxury purposes. 2k is otherwise his Blink Dagger. But, yeah, Magnus has a pretty interesting build going on. And given the situation, I'm a pretty big fan of it. What is the Wraith King actually going for? It looks like Midas into nothing. SF, he's going to go for drums. Should have it. Yeah, he's got drums in the bag. Going to go for probably the classic Shadow Fiend build. Not stacking stats or anything like that super high. Just going to go for Force Staff and the Hurricane Pike. Pretty normal SF things. Get some casting going with this Wraith King is going to be the Smorker. Moon has no items. That is... Okay, that's not right. He does have one item coming out. It's a pretty good one in the Veil. Although for Mineski, Veil is actually not that great for the team. It's obviously always going to get you some pretty nice value as a Queen of Pain, but you really want to be getting the Veil if you can also amplify someone else's magic damage. And currently, there isn't much casting here for Mineski. The Bounty Hunter able to get to level 5.5. Chuan's going to take a pretty big hit, but the hookshot does miss. They do still see him with the Battery Assault and the ticking Sonic Wave coming through. SF will fall. Death Requiem does quite a bit of damage, but they'll also pick up the Doctor before they're able to leave. Jabs will leave in a body bag, but they've already collected a 3-for-1 trade, and it looks like they should be able to get out with everyone else. Even forcing the rotation of the Wraith King, even pulling out that Static Storm from the Disruptor to prevent an even worse fight, but still, Mineski, they crash in super hard. And that exactly is why you want to play a Wraith King in this type of game. We saw how fast that fight ended for Mineski. And Wraith King is just not a hero that will die to that. Or, I mean, he'll die once, maybe, with Reincarnation. He won't die for real. So, yeah, definitely a good spot to be a Wraith King. That's for sure. Holy crap, was that a purely blind flare from Jabs? Dude, that was a sick flare. I mean, it doesn't do much except for take out one of these raindrop charges, but man, I don't think he had any idea there was a Batrider there. He was just scouting. That's pretty sick, man. That is pretty sick. So Ice now gonna start farming towards that Blink Dagger. You can see this Shadow Fiend is having an absolutely miserable time on the bottom of the cores. That is not where you want to be as any hero, period, let alone a mid hero, let alone a mid Shadow Fiend. You know, there are heroes that can recover from this situation. Shadow Fiend kind of is one of them. You can flash farm pretty darn well with raises, but man, you really don't want to be in this position, to be forced purely on the defensive against a team that can kill you so easily. Holy crap, Faceless Void did go for that Hood. And now he's going to go Hood into Manta style with Ultimate Orb instead of Yasha. Dude, Mushi's sequencing this game is so weird. He's just like building a tank Faceless Void. He does have Empower, so he doesn't have to build damage necessarily. Track now up, gonna grab Ice. But they're dragging back an RP, so they have a time bomb to deal with here. He's gonna get out of the Static Storm. Glimpsed back in, no, not quite. Now can cast RP, but there's really no angle for it. He'll just concede his life. In the meantime, over in mid, they've found the Wraith King. He has no backup here. Mushi is here, though the Scream from Moon will miss. Field goes up. Skimberlu will lose 1 life. Here's the Chronosphere onto 2, cleaving through Mushi, and the Sonic Wave will cleave through everyone else. Chuan does still survive. Skimberlu's on his 2nd life. Play Hard now is going to take a huge hit from that Brain Sap, and a couple shots from Mushi. Grip now onto the Batrider. He doesn't have any help. The Shuriken does not bounce because Ninja Boogie is not tracked. They'll take down March. Haha, indeed. Now the hook shot in from Jabs will pick off Play Hard. Is anyone else in danger? Looks like no. But it is still going to be yet another 1-for-3 exchange in favor of Mineski. The Magnus, he died. I think he was tracked. Yeah, he was tracked on that bottom lane. But everyone who was tracked in this mid lane, unfortunately for Geek Fam, did not die. So not much track gold for this bounty hunter, and we can see how Mineski able to kind of slowly approach that fight. No need to burn every single tool right off the bat. Can take it very patiently. Now, unfortunately, they don't pick off the Shadow Fiend for the up team time, but yeah, they get pretty much everyone else. Can't be sad about that. Mineski going to start closing the gap between their farmers. The Wraith King still is on top of the net worth chart, as you would expect with the Hand of Midas into Radiance build. Definitely a solid one for Wraith King or for Lone Druid. You know, you can interchange these heroes and no one will bat an eye. But Mushi, because he's gone for such a bulky build, really difficult for Geek Fam to really ever kill off. Like, you need to Static Storm him, you need to lasso him. I don't know how much damage he's doing with Empower. I assume it gives him, like, let's say 200 damage a hit. Plus with Yasha and Manta style, like, he can do some serious damage. Let's see how durable he actually is, though, because the Batrider has another lasso. With the Blink Dagger, Mushi is going to get grabbed. They will have a Static Storm, and they will have 1 raise. They'll have 2 raise. Barrier, though, still available here for the Faceless Void. Can Time Walk, will heal a little bit, but definitely not enough. And they will finish off the Faceless Void. Again, takes pretty much everybody, but such is life, killing off a hero with Hood. Bottom lane still being pushed by Ice. He once again dominated the enemy siege creep, and is going to be deforesting just a little bit. He's actually able to clear this creep wave mighty quick. He's also just kind of baiting. Not really. It's pretty clear that he's baiting right now because Queen of Pain just shows up, but hey, walk right in, take a tier 2. No one on Mineski going to be sad about that. Lincoln Sphere being built for the Quap. Pretty premium item. You can block pretty much all the big spells from Geek Fam. There are really no trash spells from the Geek Fam side. Like, I guess Track would be the easiest one to call trash, but even then, like, if you're able to block Track and keep yourself hidden, that's still quite nice. Now, obviously, the big one, the one that everyone wants to block, is that lasso. We'll see if it actually happens. Alright, so Faceless Void is going to end up with a pretty solid build. But you can see that death really costing him. Skimberlu with that Radiance Midas. going to be really, really difficult to kill. Is going to be power farmed out of his mind. And if you're going to carry as Wraith King because your Shadow Fiend is feeding, this is the build you want. You need to be super accelerated. And he is indeed that. Mushi does know that there's an SF in the area. Does maybe see the Bat Rider there. I don't know if he does, but is either way, just going to peace on out. The presence of the Dark Lord is something that you can feel. And Mushi has felt it, and he will leave. Playhard is moving in now. There is a sentry here for the Dire. I don't think Playhard tripped that vision. Probably going to now with the track. I think they know he's there. I'm pretty sure they do. Doesn't seem like anyone is really interested in really aggressively playing this game. It should be Geek fam to do it because they have another lasso up. But Mineski are really well positioned right now. Sentries all over the freaking place. Playhard now revealed, or at least spotted. No dust here on Moon, unfortunately, so we can't go for that. But even though this Wraith King is really going to be power farmed, going for aggressive plays right now are just so easy. Jab's going to go imp hook shot. That will do nothing. Does have himself a Spirit Vessel. Up against the Vamp Aura of the Wraith King is going to do something as far as counter healing is concerned. Still, I mean, it's good enough to just get without even needing that. Play hard. Finally caught. Chronosphere is there. Mantis Style used. Yes, all Faceless Void illusions do work in Chronosphere. Burlu. Have backup here. Marsh gonna jump right in, grabs himself a Magnus. Suddenly gotta watch out. Static Storm will prevent the usage of RP. Now Ninja Boogie bumped back a little bit, but glimpsed back. Marsh takes a lot of damage here as Moon's gonna come in, assassinate the Bat Rider. Still focusing on the Bane, they will be able to kill him off. Was getting caught part of your plan, Bane? Let's see. Moon's gonna take a couple of raises up on the north side. They're gonna try to focus on this Wraith King, but he's just not dying right now. That mischance is being such a backbreaker. They'll go for the Shadow Fiend instead. He'll skid down to the low ground, and finally Scamberlu will lose his first life. Jabs, though, takes a lot of damage from it. He's gonna get pulled right back into not a Requiem, that was canceled. A raise instead. Hey, whatever works. And this time it's gonna be 1-for-3 trade in favor of Geek fam. Mushi not having the Chronosphere, deciding to use it instead up against that bounty. For sure is going to cost him in this fight. A Chronosphere otherwise would have killed off that Shadow Fiend, for sure. Plus initiation going Geek fam's way. They are going to claim a couple heads, but because the Bounty Hunter was picked off earlier, no tracks were involved here. Are able to pick off kind of the more expendable heroes from the Mineski side. Mushi remains alive, remains farming. Is going to go for another... is Diffusal Blade, right? That's not another Yasha. I don't think so. Dude, I love Aghanim's Void. I think it's just incredible. But it's also probably not the game to do it, unfortunately. If you're farming and if you're meant to be the heavy, you don't get Aghanims. You get smashy items. Playhard is going pretty deep. We have some really deep obs coverage here for the Radiant. Be tracking items and whatnot. Couriers. Scamberlu right around the corner from the smoke, but he has a lot of backup here. Obs will be placed, won't see that much. They will get a glimpse of the Wraith King. And Ninja Boogie's smoke is going to break up against March. Really difficult here to kill off. If March sees you, he'll blink away before you can get that grip off, or Nightmare. With the obs in place with Mushi pushing the lane, it looks like they should be able to bag a tier 1 tower for free. With this obs as well, it will make it so that Mineski are pretty much immune to Bat Rider initiation, meaning that Ice 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 can actually play in the fights. Up till now, Ice 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 has actually just been killed off first thing, and has done actually nothing in every single engagement. Feels bad, man. He's gonna get a BKB to try to alleviate that issue. It's still quite a ways away, though. Oh, the Satyr, rip. Voice issues again? Dude, Mineski, I don't know what you're doing with TeamSpeak or whatever. Oh, it's a mic again. You need some sponsors to get you some better equipment. What else do we have item-wise? Veil into Lincoln's now completed. Diffusal Blade right around the corner. BKB, Blink Force Staff for the Bat. Drum, Force Staff, Hurricane Pike for the SF. Going for that shotgun next. Wraith King, his item. Gonna be that Blink Dagger. You can see he is so hard to kill. Like, he's got the extra strength. I unfortunately don't think we're ever going to see a skeleton-based build on the Wraith King because these skeletons are not really a thing. But man, oh man, is he going to be doing some serious damage, and he has so much staying power as well. If Batrider keeps initiating as he has been in these past couple fights, then Wraith King is just not going to die. Like, they absolutely need the RP. Maybe not to kill off the Wraith King, but for sure to kill off some people in the background. Take out that Shadow Fiend, take out the Batrider. Wraith King does need that cover from his allies. Because otherwise, like, yeah, he's difficult to kill. But 4v1, 5v1, Wraith King will eventually die twice. Just give Mineski a little bit of time. Someone get Nana a better microphone, please. Because pausing is no bueno. Spirit Vessel is up on the clockwork. Should be built soon enough on the bounty. Yeah, it will be. Playhard hasn't gotten the most track kills. He got one, I think. Did he really only get one? I feel like he's been scouting a lot. He's been tracking a lot, but just the kills have not been occurring on heroes that were tracked up at the time. Like, the only track kill was down here on the gank on the Magnus. So he's actually still pretty poor, despite getting track at a not terrible time. And Spirit Vessel is, man, such a great item just to have. Like, look at these stats. This item just gives you, like, all the stats you want. Of course, gives you insane healing, and you're talking about not that much counter healing, not that much like raw healing here, but the value you get just being able to heal for so much or damage for so much, it does work pretty darn well. Armlet gonna wreck Mineski. I don't really think Wraith King needs an armlet right now. I mean, armlet is a good item to have on a Wraith King, but at the same time, like, if you're looking to power farm with a Radiance and a Hand of Midas, you can dream bigger than an armlet. Armlet is kind of a budget item. That's why we see it as kind of like a first item on certain heroes, like Huskar. Like, he really wants that super early game push in power. And because it's not super early game right now, because the Wraith King has means to get fatter and more influential items, there's no point in going for these kind of basic level items. Basic level core items, let's say. Faceless Void, you could say, hey, Diffusal Blade is kind of the same, and I would agree. The Faceless Void at the same time, going for Diffusal Blade with Manta Style actually gives him some pretty nice mana burn utility up against that Wraith King. Illusion's gonna spot everything. Jabs put into his own cage. March still has a Blink Dagger and a Lasso. Hook shot, not gonna happen. Lasso to cancel. I have never seen that before. Jabs, though, is going to be the next track kill, ladies and gentlemen, as the Shadow Fiend will grab that. Man, apparently the Lasso is stronger than the metal of the hook shot. Who knew? Moon's still sticking around right now. Playhard is stalking him. But with that Lincoln Sphere, really difficult to kill off. Now, they are able to kill off the Clockwork, and yes, that's kind of nice for Geek Fan because it's a track kill. Lasso now down means that Mineski can move around the map pretty comfortably, do pretty much whatever they want. Get these items up on Mushi, and hey, look at that, there's a Diffusal Blade. Play hard. Alright, not gonna be at Chronosphere this time. Almost at that Time Walk cast range talent. I'm not sure if I've seen many Faceless Voids, any Faceless Voids go for... The 40 attack speed is a lot. And in a core 1 roll, it might just be what you want, but this Time Walk range is so ridiculously powerful. I don't know, we'll see. Does have 800 gold now, looking for his next item. Should be one of those fatter items that I was mentioning. Might need a BKB. You really don't want to get Hood and BKB in a Void, though. That's, like, so expensive just to be defensive versus, like, Static Storm. Is this his? That is his. Maybe he is going to go for it anyway. Play hard, looking at Jack the Courier. Unfortunately, the Courier doesn't get +10 strength, which would be interesting if it did. It doesn't really bother Mushi all that much, I'm sure. Courier's going to be back, and he doesn't have the full item anyway. But both sides just happy, chilling, and farming. This is great for the SF, man. Like, he's been able to dodge death for the past couple minutes. Collect a little bit of farm here and there, and all of a sudden, level 18, not looking too shabby. I expect the Magnus to actually be getting a little bit more for him. He's obviously like gonna get kind of the dregs that Mushi doesn't kill off. Mostly being playing like a Bane. Just if shit goes down on Mushi, you jump in with the RP and try to save him. And that type of style doesn't give you any gold. Geek Fam Camp got a little bit of a movement here. March scouting forward. Obs is gonna see Moon Link, force staff pop Lincoln, and then grab him with the lasso. It's going to be a slow pullback. Static Storm is needed here, and it will come out in time. Hook shot maybe to get this Queen of Pain just a little bit of space. Still raises to land. Moon will blink out, gets immediately glimpsed back, and will go down. Jabs as well is tracked up. He is going to try to dodge the raises, but he'll just be right-clicked down by the SF. Now looking for Ninja Boogie. Play Hard is going in pretty deep here for this Bane. Ninja Boogie not going to turn around for a grip or anything like that, so it's an easy 2-kill here for Geek Fam, although here comes Ice Ice Ice. In from Magnus, his Blink Dagger is on cooldown. Mushi in the meantime picks up Chuan with that Chronosphere. My apologies, did not see him come in. I thought he was still top lane. Got here pretty darn quickly with this Time Walk cast range talent. Still chasing after March, and he doesn't actually see them, but he has backup right around the corner. With no Chronosphere, Skimberlu's going to immediately jump right in. He's going to fight up against Mushi, so with the RP coming in with the cleave, maybe they're able to make some sort of turnaround here for Mineski, but all these misses from the Radiance means that the Bounty Hunter is able to slip away. He'll get dusted up and probably taken down by Jap. Now skewered back, Skimberlu into the tower. Mushi, with his army of blue men, is going to take down Skimberlu for good now. Obli trying to TP out. Jabs cannot get close enough. His hook shot's still on cooldown. And they are able to make some sort of fight happen afterwards, Mineski. Mushi does survive the entirety of the engagement. Is able to collect quite a few heads. Ice 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 as well. Is able to navigate the entire fight without dying this time. And his BKB is going to be finished in about 30 seconds. Maybe you wait a little longer. Maybe like 40 seconds. Geek Fam going in just a little bit too far. Wraith King holding 4K gold. Not something you want to be doing. Gold does nothing for you. Items do everything. And you're not going to need to buy back here either. But they're just going to go straight in towards Roche. Bat Rider, where is he? He is going to be de-warding. Hookshot in, though. Does land onto the Bounty Hunter. He is going to dig his way through, but the grip is there. And here comes the guy with the whip. Unfortunately, that didn't get the kill. 14 damage isn't really that much. They will get an extra kill for the road, including an Aegis, and Chronosphere is going to be back up soon. Mineski make a pretty big push back into this game. This game is going to come down to, already has come down to, almost purely fight execution. Who does the Bat Rider lasso? Who gets Chronosphered? Who gets RP'd? Get an RP on 2 with Mushi already empowered so you can just start cleaving through them. And it's going to be tough for Mineski to lose that fight, honestly. Man, Ripperino. No reincarnation mana cost taking over that insane plus 30 skeleton damage. They could be hitting for 67 right now. How crazy is that? As the skeleton immediately dies to the creep wave. Smoke up, shot in. Gonna land onto the Wraith King. Immediately match style is there, plus the cog bump back. Of course, the ultimate is free now, but he will very quickly go down. Into a Chronosphere, he'll respawn. There is no backup available here. Skimberlu will die twice. His allies not in a position to actually be able to help him simply because he's too far away. That is going to cost them their Chronosphere. Quite a long cooldown on that one, but level 3, it's as low as it can be right now without Ags. Ice Ice Ice, though, still has that RP, so even though they don't have the Chrono, they still have the ability to team fight. Grip is going to be up soon as well. And Disruptor is split pushing, I guess. But he's actually losing the split push race up against the Clockwork. Feels bad, man. They're going to go in for more. Mushi has Magic Immunity, Magic Resistance, and a double life. Dude is tanky as all hell, and you can see he's doing some serious damage with this Empower. Also keep in mind, Empower works off of your agility. So an item like Diffusal Blade, which gives you a lot of just pure agility, gives you a lot of Empower damage as well. Oh, the lasso! Baited by the Quap. Still they're going to use the RP on the Bat Rider. Oh, get ya baited, son. Moon next leveling with a random Queen of Pain illusion from a rune from before. Will get them a kill, cost them an RP, yes. But Chronosphere, 40 seconds left. We got 100 seconds off on the Magnus. They also use the grip, so the team fight here from Mineski is actually fairly weak. They can initiate with the hookshot, but they don't really have that much follow-up. Do they even need the follow-up? That's the question, because they're already taking down 1 Rax. And Mushi's barely taking any damage from anyone. Does dilate the Shadow Fiend. Look at these cooldowns. They're so huge. Chuan's going to actually get just eviscerated here. BKB forced out on Mushi so he doesn't get glimpsed back. Scamberlu's going in, knowing the enemy doesn't have any of those big cooldowns, but he's just going to get absolutely beaten to hell. Is forced to retreat immediately. That's less than ideal here for Mushi. That's not how you want to use your first BKB charge. But the end result, we could say he used the BKB charge for the fight, because that's a Rax and a half in advantage for Mineski. Still, they have the Aegis. And hey, look at that. Chronosphere is back up with the next set of items. That's an Ether Lens for the Bane. It's a Butterfly build-up on the Faceless Void. It's done, in fact, whenever the Courier gets out here. We have Clockwork getting, wow, Arcane Boots. No, he's just going to go disassemble that eventually for that Lotus. Magnus, BKB into a Guardian Greaves build-up. He's got 4 feet, so you need 2 shoes, obviously, and a BKB into Shivas for the Quap. This is Mineski all of a sudden taking a huge step forward in this game. Butterfly on Faceless Void. Again, agility items and power does increase its damage based off of your green stats, your base stats, your gray stats, not your green stats. Plus 176. So that Empower gives him about 100 damage. Yeah, it seems pretty good. Pretty good. Unfortunately, Hood is now in his backpack, so how the hell is he going to survive? I don't know the answer to that.
Top shrine is under attack.
Play hard. He is going to see this one coming. Detection check real quick for Mineski here. They don't have a gem or anything like that. The gem is still alive on the Geek fam side. Disruptor is going to be spotted TPing out. They don't know if the Batrider is up here. Batrider actually died, but I guess Mineski didn't grab his gem. Interesting. So he does still have that True Sight, but all of a sudden, dead even game this entire time, then some gigantic nosedive into Mineski's favor. With all of their big ultimates back up again, the only question is, where will they want to push next? They have the Lotus completed. It's actually on the Clockworks person. Yeah, he completed it himself, so the Courier, though, is going to die. It's not really a terribly huge cost there. Pretty sure Mushi is going to be more than happy to Chronosphere anyone he finds. Like, actually anyone. Person in the area is the Wraith King. He is still empowered half duration. Wraith King is not spotted just yet. Oh, this could be dangerous, Wraith King. He's going to pop his Goon Squad up. Mushi has TP support coming in, just going to get going with the bashes. Wraith King's going to get a Wraith Fire Blast off before he dies. Mushi's going to farm it up. Chronosphere up as well. Wraith King is alive, but no, he's not alive because he's dead. Even with all those missed chances, there's no true strike here for Mushi. Not at all. It doesn't matter at all. He's level 25. He's going to pick up the extra AoE instead of the backtrack chance. In case you guys don't know, backtrack is just pure damage evasion, not like Butterfly, which is hit evasion. You could dodge any source of damage with that. But this Chronosphere now is absolutely gigantic. It sometimes hurts a little bit more than it helps, simply because teams aren't really, Faceless Void players rather, aren't really used to it. But it just means that you could drop a bubble a lot more aggressively and just try to catch some extra heroes randomly. Oh, hello, this is an item, Aghanim Scepter. Definitely a good time to pick it up if you're able to get rid of some of these BKBs. It can definitely turn the tide, but they need the Wraith King there. They need the Batrider to initiate on someone important. It's going to be, oh, immediately Nightmare by Ninja Boogie, now gripped as well. They do get the Static Storm off onto the Faceless Void, so he's going to take quite a bit of damage here, but Moon already has the BKB. He's going to jump with the Sonic Wave onto absolutely everyone. Ice Ice there with the RP as well, and Mushi's still alive. He's going to turn around and start beating down into Play Hard. Skemberlo is going to try to go for the ban. He will get him killed off, but at the cost of his own first life. Chuan is still on the high ground, still doing a little bit of damage here. Mushi with the BKB up is not with a second life or anything like that, so they have to play this a little bit conservatively. Losing the Bane, they will take down a handful of enemies. I think someone was forced to buy back there. Yes, Gamberlu was forced to buy out. That is a huge cost, even for this Wraith King who's getting this much gold. That response play, RP into Sonic Wave with BKBs already prepped up. I mean, Sonic Wave is, Static Storm with Aghanim Scepter is great and everything. It mutes all those items. But if your items are already used, it doesn't stop them. Like, it doesn't stop a BKB from working once it's already been used. That would be pretty sick if it did, though. I don't know how they would explain that, because that just kind of breaks all the rules of Dota. But another pretty decent fight here for the Mineski side. Mushi even not contributing to his fullest, simply because he was stuck in that Static Storm the entire time. Let's see how much it actually mattered. Not that much at all. Ice is going to reveal himself. So will Mushi. Blows the smoke and is spotted. Short time walk away. Chronosphere is going to miss. They do get the lasso. Into the Nightmare. Onto the Faceless Void. He's getting pulled every which way. Now stuck in the Static Storm. Needs some help. He's going to get out of that Silent Circle and time walk away. Heal up quite a bit. Now all the big tools from Geek Fam are gone. Mushi does use the Chronosphere for that to escape. But that was a very quick reaction there from Mushi. And from Ninja Boogie as well. Holy crap, he has plus 240 damage. Oh, and then he gets stuck. Wah, wah. So Mineski, right now, just waiting for that Roche. 2 minutes or so. So we'll have that one. Guardian Grease. Pick up for the Magnus next. Interesting. It's just a nice survivability item for one thing. Does purge off a couple of things. Track, Wraith Fire Blast, slow, stuff like that. Thunderstrike. Nothing huge, but I don't know. Maybe Vlad's would be better here. It's a fine item anyway. Saves him in the item slot, I guess. You just upgrade the Arcane Boots straight away. Play hard. Scouting a lot, but doesn't really do anything if he does find someone. He's looking for the courier. Won't be able to find it. March is gonna just fly away. Still has this freaking gem. How the hell does he have the gem still? It's just so baffling. Moon has found himself a fire trail. Unfortunately, he can't find himself a Bat Rider. They will start to converge on the top lane. Start to push that one out, simply because bottom lane looks like Range Rax was taken by the creeps pushing in. Mid lane as well will be pushed in. Rax advantage. So just shove the top lane. That means Roshan is easier to take. And if you're a Geek Fam, yeah, they do have a couple Blink Daggers here, but they will have to come through this corridor. Okay, I'm not sure the Wild Wing Ripper deserved that, and now Tron's gonna get punished for it. You kill his bird? I think not. Jab's hookshot can be blocked by Skimberlu. That's actually kind of okay for the Clockwork here, because he's just distracting away while the rest of his allies do their thing. Mushi is going to find March. The grip is there, and Mushi with the BKB active is going to drop a Chronosphere onto 3 heroes, including the Wraith King right on the edge. This is going to be a 2-kill. Probably even 3. Shotgun goes off, and now the Static Storm comes in as Tron is going to burst down the face board, but now here comes Ice with the RP onto 3 heroes. There's not much follow-up here as Moon has to leave. They will take down Oli, but that's about it. Chuan and Skimberlu still standing strong and will be able to drive everyone else back. Moon is off the Shiva's guard, trying to rush forward. The Shadow Fiend Sonic Wave right clicks. Oh, Chuan is still alive, but with the jump forward, no, that was Shockwave. I think would have killed. Maybe not. I don't know. It's still going to be an even trade. So for Geek Fam, that is actually extraordinary, and they still have his gem, which is even more extraordinary, actually. Shadow Fiend doing some serious work there. And that's a Static Storm. Again, this Aghanim Scepter on the Disruptor, absolutely backbreaking. The Queen of Pain does have that lifesteal talent, going to push that level 25 mark. I wonder if Scream of Pain Fear is ever taken. I don't think I see it ever. But damn, that absolutely shredded the Faceless Void. If only there was some item that the Faceless Void can get that would give him increased magic resistance so he doesn't die to all those spells. Maybe Ice Frog should add an item like that. I think that would be a really good item. This Wraith King is pushing 25 mighty quick here. Let's see what talent he's able to get. I haven't really seen a ton of Wraith Kings, so I'm not really sure what's necessarily standard. Shadow Fiend, we have a lot of differing opinions. It does have that Ethereal Blade, and most of the time, if you're in this spot with these items, you go for that cooldown reduction. But for sure, there are situations where damage per soul is going to just give you so much damage, and it might just be worth it. I'm not sure if that's what's happening here. He probably is going to get the cooldown reduction, but I mean, that's actually a decision point at level 25. A real decision as opposed to a whole bunch of other fake decisions like Medusa. But, well, gee whiz, I have an Eye of Scotty and Lifesteal. Do I want all my attack modifiers to work on all my split shot targets? I think so. There are no-brainer talent picks there. Still this game. 40 minutes in, we have ourselves a pretty darn even one. Moon, BKB, Lincoln Sphere, hell of a lot of armor. Not an easy hero to kill off. March, though, does have an Invis rune. Does have his gem back on him. because this is his gem. No one else can use it. Other people obviously can use it, but he's not going to let them. All the team fight ultimates are back up. Roshan is alive as well. No team is really going to feel comfortable going into Roche, though. Geek Fam can kill it off pretty quickly, but if they go into Roche, they will get eviscerated by the RP and the Chronosphere. Similarly, Mineski can kill it quickly, but if they're going to go in, Static Storm and Lasso is going to destroy them, so whoever goes into Roche is probably going to die. That's why you got to get a pick off beforehand. It looks like Mineski are heading the wrong way for it. They only do see this Wraith King right now. We'll get a glimpse onto the Shadow Fiend. Hoping for someone to push this bottom lane. I guess, like, best case scenario, they get Disruptor. Which at this point isn't that bad. They really need to deal with the Static Storm. There's no easy way to do it. Cast range and Disruptor isn't, like, super high or anything like that, but it's usually enough to get a Static Storm down when he needs to. Smoke is still maintained here. There's actually a second smoke. They re-smoke. I don't think it was popped on anyone. They do know that there's a couple of heroes up here. They're going to go straight into the base. Oh, they found the Shadow Fiend in the base. They're going to back away from him, though. They're not sure what they should be doing. They're going to jump in. Chronosphere, they caught the Static Storm. Only the Disruptor in this one. They are going to take him down mighty quick. RP is going to jump in, land onto the Shadow Fiend, and also will take down the reincarnation of the Wraith King. Mushi's still at full HP. No Static Storm. Look at the difference in this engagement. Double Lasso, thanks to the Echo Shell. He's going to keep the Bat Rider there for him to go down. Skimberlu's going to die again. Immediately does buy back, but he only has this one life left. Still 20 seconds until he's able to get another reincarnation on the board. Juan with BKB is doing what he can, but Mushi and Moon going to go straight for the top lane. That will be Megas, and with only 2 heroes to defend, I think Mineski with that move may have just won the game. It's such a tough call to make. Focus the Disruptor. This support is destroying us. But I dare say that is the correct move to make. It does work out pretty well for them. Skewer back way past where Mushi dove in, but still Skimberlu does have 1 reincarnation. Mass stuns now from the Wraithfire Blast. Immediately bumped back by the Cogs, and then Swarm will be down for 2 minutes. Hookshot in will make it a full team wipe. And that will be a good luck, have fun call from Play Hard. GG for reals now, as Geek Fam put up a hell of a good fight. But unfortunately, the team fight execution for Mineski, just a step above Geek Fam. I want to say that this game would be a lot closer if Geek Fam didn't get done playing a grueling best of 3 up against Fnatic earlier. Like, you gotta remember, they just got done with that, so they're probably exhausted as hell. But, you know, they put up a pretty good fight. Mineski are Mineski, though. They are one of the best teams in the region, if not the best. And, well, they definitely show it off here. Styling for sure. Guys, this is the end of game 1. Best of 3 here for SLI. Winner faces up against TNC. Loser is out. If you enjoyed the game, stick around, because I'm going to be back in just a little bit for game 2.